Hello, and thank you so much for joining today. My name is Boho Bonnie, and welcome to my channel. This is a pretty new adventure for me. I've just now kind of started documenting my thoughts on various topics in the form of video because I just got into video editing and production in my day job, and it's something that I want to grow as a skill, and so making YouTube videos is a great way for me to do that. That being said, I focus primarily on politics and activism, LGBTQ plus issues, plant care, homesteading, basically whatever it is I want to talk about. I don't fit neatly into a niche, as I think most of us don't. And because this is a passion project and something I love and not necessarily a business venture, it's important for me to stay true and authentic to myself and talk about the issues that are important to me, even if they may not necessarily align. But if any of those things are things that you are passionate or curious about, I urge you to please subscribe to my channel so that you get notified when I drop new videos. I just got back from an amazing New York City fall break vacation with my daughter. Wait, there we go. So we had an amazing time. We got to see Hamilton on Broadway, like total bucket list material. It was so amazing. We got to explore Central Park, the Natural History Museum, took the Staten Island Ferry to see the Statue of Liberty from a distance, for free, mind you. So I may come out with a future video on how to do New York City in 3 days with a limited budget. We'll have to leave the Hamilton part out though. So let's get into today's topic. Texas. Texas. Ooh, can barely say that word without just getting a little cringe. So I'm apologizing to all of you who live in Texas, who are just appalled by the things that the lawmakers are doing. I feel for you. Just know that there are people that are outside of Texas, even those of us that live just a little further up north who have our own set of issues, myself included. So yesterday, the Texas House passed HB25, and this is one of the transgender sports bans that we saw sweep the country earlier in the year. The bill is now headed to the Senate, where it is expected to pass, and I think we all know that Governor Abbott will likely sign off on it. HB25 would prohibit trans youth in K-12 sports from playing for the team that corresponds with their gender identity. Now, existing rules already state that the child's gender on their birth certificate must match the gender of the team, but the previous rules allowed for exceptions when the birth certificate had been modified. HB25 would basically make it so that there are no exceptions. So there's a pervasive myth growing, especially in conservative states, that trans females specifically have a competitive advantage when it comes to playing team sports that directly puts cisgender females at a disadvantage. Now, I won't deny the fact that there are a few examples of this being true, all of which have been heavily publicized by the right-wing media, but by and large, this is just a highly politicized issue that they have blown way out of proportion. And it is just another harmful message that transgender people don't belong. The fact is, most kids in that K-12 level have very similar physical builds. And we all know that there's much more at play when it comes to athletic ability than just our reproductive anatomy. According to the US Trans Survey, 22% of trans females were harassed so badly in school that they had to drop out, and another 10% were kicked out of school. So the concept that trans students having some kind of advantage because they are trans ignores the actual conditions of their lives. For most of these kids, all they want to do is feel included and play sports with their friends. I also find it a little funny that there seems to be zero concern that trans men might actually put cisgender men at a disadvantage when it comes to men's sports, especially considering that the few studies have been done have shown that trans men taking high, levels of testosterone can actually have a little bit of a competitive advantage over cisgender men. This is certainly a double standard and just another example of needing to save girls because they are weak and in need of saving. If anything, HB25 puts all students, including cisgender girls, at a disadvantage. The NCAA, which regulates U.S. college athletics, firmly and unequivocally supports the opportunity for trans student athletes to compete, and they have pledged not to hold any championships in states where there are discriminatory laws of this nature. So HB25 doesn't just hurt trans athletes, it hurts all athletes. It hurts all of us. The ACLU is actively fighting these bills across the country and specifically in Texas in court to try and get them thrown out. In order to support the ACLU in this battle, I am donating 100% of the profits made from my Protect Trans Kids t-shirt available on my Etsy store, and I'll put the link in the description, to the ACLU so that they can continue to fund this battle in court. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so that you get notified when I drop new content. Thanks, y'all.